We got you updated. This is Radio Manzi News in English.
This is Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame has arrived in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. The city of Kigali has conducted a validation workshop of the Kigali Water Resilience Profile. Sri Lanka has approved a 4-day work week for public sector workers to grow food in their backyards in a bid to forestall a looming food shortage as the government struggles with its worst financial crisis in decades. Welcome back. News in detail. President Paul Kagame has arrived in Abu Dhabi, where he was welcomed by Sheikh Shabout bin Nahyan, the Minister of State of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. President Paul Kagame is expected to pay his respects to Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed and offer his condolences to the new head of state. The city of Kigali and partners have conducted a validation workshop of the Kigali Water Resilience Profile and Action Plan. Manzi Prince has this report.
The validation plan was conducted by the City of Kigali in partnership with the World Resources Institute, Resilient Cities Network, a RAP, engineering company, and the Resilient Shift. The action plan validated today is a result of planning processes that started in April 2021. It has 30 actions that will enable the City of Kigali to address key challenges around its water system. The mayor of the city of Kigali said they are committed to building a water-resilient city by ensuring that its urban development and planning decisions are in line with natural water flows to sustain the city's water resources. The mayor also commended the diverse groups of stakeholders in Kigali who contributed their time and input to the process.
Moving on to matters of education. The Ministry of Education has been conducting competitions in primary and secondary schools aimed at enhancing public awareness on the benefits of Rwanda's membership in the Commonwealth. The primary schools countrywide competed in drawings, while secondary schools held debate competitions. Manzi Prince with this report.
Primary school students drew their inspiration from 5 themes: governance and rule of law, sustainability, health, youth, technology, and innovation. The activity lasted from May 10th to June 15th, from school level to national level. The 30 finalists presented their drawings at an event that brought together different stakeholders such as the Ministry of Education, Rwanda Basic Education Board, National Examination and School Inspection Authority, provinces, City of Kigali, and parents. One of the parents said, "I'm so proud of my boy. I can't believe he brought me all the way to Kigali to testify as he gets rewarded from his good performance. Though I should say I'm not surprised because I know he has been drawing since he started school." Parents also shared that their own understanding of Kagame was enhanced by their children's experience in the competition. Students were awarded with advanced drawing materials, pens, notebooks, and other school supplies, water bottles, and school bags.
The European Court of Human Rights has caused a delay in the transfer of migrants and asylum seekers from the UK to Rwanda following an approval of a last-minute injunction. The injunction was applied for by an Iraqi national who had appealed against his transfer, and this led to the other migrants suddenly applying to the same court, and as a result, it delayed the transfer process. The decision by the European Court of Human Rights implies that the migrants will stay until their claims are adjudicated in the UK courts. UK media had reported that a plane that was meant to carry the migrants and asylum seekers was already secured and ready to take off with the first group bound to Rwanda. However, following the court injunction, the flight did not depart the UK. Reacting to the latest development, Priti Patel, the UK Home Secretary, expressed disappointment that the European Court had ignored the successive rulings that okayed the transfers. The Internet Society Organization has called for accelerated action to further internet development throughout the African region. Manzi Prince with more.
During the World Telecommunication Development Conference WTDC 2022 taking place in Kigali under the theme Connecting the Unconnected to Achieve Sustainable Development, Dawit Bakele, Regional Vice President of the Internet Society in Africa, lauded the progress made by stakeholders in expanding access throughout the continent while encouraging more collaborative efforts to bridge the digital divide. Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest growth in global internet penetration, increasing from less than 1% in 2000 to 3% today. Between 2019 and 2021, internet use in Africa jumped by 23%. Despite this impressive growth, there is still a coverage gap of over 840 million people who don't have access to reliable and affordable internet access. Bekele said the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the value of internet connectivity, which has been an essential lifeline for the continuity of business, healthcare, education, government and other critical activities. He applauded the significant investments in the last decades to develop internet infrastructure, which have made the internet available to more people across the continent. However, the pandemic also highlights the digital divide that remains, particularly in rural, remote and even urban areas around the world. Community networks are a way to help address the digital divide. There are communications infrastructures built, managed and used by local communities and are a sustainable solution to address connectivity gaps in underserved regions. The Internet Society has a long history of working with communities worldwide to fund, build and train people with the skills needed to run and maintain community networks. In Africa, the Internet Society has helped build community networks in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, Namibia, Morocco, Senegal, and Ethiopia. At the WTDC, the organization will be made a pledge to support 100 complementary solutions to connect the unconnected and to train 10,000 people to build and maintain internet infrastructure, all by 2025, as a part of the Partner to Connect Digital Coalition, an initiative led by ITU that aims to foster meaningful connectivity and digital transformation in the hardest to connect communities around the world. Also, vital to expanding the internet throughout Africa in the interconnection between local networks, content providers, and users. Currently, millions of dollars are spent every year to route local internet traffic through expensive international links. This not only makes the internet slower and more costly for internet users, it also limits the kinds of applications that can run on the local internet. For this reason, the Internet Society has been at the forefront of supporting the establishment and growth of internet exchange points that enable and encourage local traffic.
We shall come back with international news.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Tanzania has increased import levies on wigs and other hair extensions from 25% to 35% in order to help women keep their natural hair. The increase also includes false beards, eyebrows and eyelashes, switches of human or animal hair or of textile materials. The move is expected to also protect local manufacturers of these products, employment creation and increase of government revenue. The decision was announced in the National Assembly by the Finance and Planning Minister, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, while presenting the national budget for financial year 2022-2023. Dr. Nchemba presented an 18.3 billion national budget, which is the second highest budget in East Africa after Kenya's $28.62 billion. Also, another notable milestone in the budget, Tanzania's budget, is the introduction of free education policy for Form 5 and Form 6 students. The policy will see the removal of all forms of fees and contributions in government schools. This means free education will be from primary to high-level secondary schools. However, indirect costs such as school and sports uniforms and other scholastic materials will remain a parent's duty to provide. In 2015, the government of Tanzania introduced a free education policy making pre-primary, primary and O-level secondary education free, waiving all registration and exam fees that parents had to pay in the past and posed a significant financial barrier. Kenya has expressed regret over the presence of a flag from Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland at a diplomatic briefing in Nairobi, which sparked a strong protest from Somalia. Hours after Somalia's ambassador to Kenya walked out of a diplomatic meeting in Nairobi because of the presence of a Somaliland envoy, Kenya's foreign ministry regretted the inappropriate presence of a Somaliland flag but made no mention of an envoy from the region which declared independence in 1991. Sri Lanka has approved a 4-day work week for public sector workers to grow food in their backyards in a bid to forestall a looming food shortage as the government struggles with its worst financial crisis in decades. The island nation, which employs about 1 million people in its public sector, has been hit by a severe foreign exchange shortage, which has left it struggling to pay for critical imports of fuel, food and medicine. Sri Lanka's cabinet approved a proposal for public sector workers to be given leave every Friday for the next 3 months, partly because the fuel shortage made commuting difficult and also to encourage them to farm. The Government Information Office said in a statement that it seems appropriate to grant government officials leave of 1 working day to engage in agricultural activities in their backyards or elsewhere as a solution to the food shortage that is expected. The extra day off would be a solution to the food shortage that is expected to occur in the future, the statement read, adding that cutting down on civil servant commutes would also help reduce fuel consumption. The United Nations last week warned of a dire humanitarian crisis and said 4 out of 5 people in the nation of 22 million were forced to skip meals as it planned to provide $47 million to help more than 1 million vulnerable people. Israel's foreign minister has said that his country was looking to U.S. President Joe Biden's Middle East trip next month to help improve relations with Saudi Arabia, a country with which it does not have official ties. Israeli leaders have long said they want to improve relations with Arab countries, which have called for Israel's complete withdrawal from the Palestinian territories occupied after 1967 in exchange for normalization of ties. Dozens of countries have voiced concern about alleged abuses in China's far western Xinjiang region and demanded that the United Nations Rights Chief publish a long-delayed report on the situation there. The group also called on Beijing to provide UN investigators and experts meaningful and unfettered access to independently observe the situation on the ground. The UN Rights Chief has faced growing pressure to release her long-delayed report on the region, which diplomats say has been ready for months.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi.
Now the Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 568,300 from 10,100 shares traded in 2 deals, while the fixed income market remained quiet. I&M Bank closed the counter at 43 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 391,300 from 9,100 shares traded in 1 deal. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 177 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 177,000 Rwandan francs from 1,000 shares traded in 1 deal. Bragua closed the counter at 160 Rwandan francs. Bank of Kigali at 265. Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs. Equity Bank at 440. Kenya Commercial Bank at 370. National Major Group at 1,200. Uchumi Supermarket at 104, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. Now the currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.6 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 8.8 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 0.27. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49, and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,012 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 1,033 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,215 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 1,239 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,056 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 1,077 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition with me, Fiona Umuganwa.